A boy once stood in the streets of Medellín watching cars pass, knowing he would never be inside one. Years later, traffic stopped when his convoy moved through the city. Pablo Escobar didn't begin with fear. He began with ambition and timing. Cocaine demand exploded, and he didn't just enter the market, he scaled it beyond control. Planes flew at night, landing on hidden strips, moving tons at a time. Money piled up so fast it was stored in warehouses, losing value to moisture and rats. But the shift came when loyalty stopped working. Plata o plomo. A choice without options. Judges hesitated. Police stepped back. Entire systems bent. By the time the government reacted, Escobar wasn't operating inside the system anymore. He had replaced it. In a maximum security prison, the floor opened beneath a shower. Below it, a tunnel stretched over a mile with lighting, ventilation, and a rail system waiting. El Chapo didn't just escape. He exited through his own infrastructure. Born in poverty, he learned early that survival meant innovation. While others moved product, he built pathways, hidden tunnels under borders, routes no one could detect. When he was captured, operations continued. When he escaped, it proved something worse, that the system didn't depend on him being free. It was designed to function either way. And once a network works like that, containment becomes temporary. At night, jets crossed borders without filing routes, landing on remote airstrips before anyone could react. Amado Carrillo Fuentes turned the sky into a supply chain. Entire fleets moved product at scale, each flight timed, coordinated, and calculated. They called him the Lord of the Skies because he controlled volume others couldn't reach. This wasn't chaos. It was logistics. But scale creates pressure. Governments adapt. Attention increases. And once pressure reaches that level, mistakes become irreversible. His sudden death shocked the system. But the structure he built didn't disappear. It remained, ready to be used again. Engines revved in Miami traffic. Motorcycles pulled up beside a car, and within seconds, everything changed. Then they were gone. Griselda Blanco introduced a new level of visibility. Fast, direct, public. Her methods didn't hide consequences. They displayed them. Her reputation moved faster than her operations. People didn't need explanations. They understood immediately. She turned control into something people could feel in ordinary moments. And once that feeling spreads, behavior changes. Streets become quieter, reactions slower. Because when risk becomes visible, avoidance becomes instinct. On a small island in the Bahamas, planes landed one after another, unloading shipments before taking off again. Carlos later turned Norman's Cay into a controlled gateway moving tons of product each week. It was simple. One location. Total control. Everything passed through a single point. Organized, efficient, predictable. But centralization creates exposure. The same system that made operations smooth also made them visible from above. And once visibility increases, pressure follows quickly. Before the chaos, there was structure. Felix Gallardo sat at the center, dividing territories like contracts. No overlap, no conflict. Everyone knew their role. And for a moment, it worked. Stability existed where it normally wouldn't. But systems like that depend on balance. And balance breaks easily. One arrest shifted everything. Trust disappeared instantly. What followed wasn't order. It was fragmentation. And fragmentation doesn't stay controlled. It multiplies. Fields stretched for miles, producing at a scale that couldn't stay hidden. Entire operations visible from the air. Rafael Caro Quintero expanded production beyond limits. But scale attracts attention. Surveillance increased. Pressure built. And once something becomes that visible, it becomes a target. The consequences didn't stop at him. They spread outward, forcing changes across the entire system. A single decision reshaped everything. Military-trained deserters were recruited. Los Zetas. Disciplined, organized, precise. For a moment, operations improved dramatically. Control looked stronger. But structured force changes the system, because once violence becomes organized, it becomes scalable. And scalable force doesn't stay controlled, it grows. Eventually, the enforcers became independent, and when they did, the system didn't just weaken, it split. No headlines, no dramatic moments, just consistency over decades. El Mayo remained in the background while others rose and fell. That was his advantage. Visibility attracts pressure. Invisibility avoids it. He didn't need to prove control. He maintained it quietly, across shifting environments. And over time, that quiet consistency outlasted louder empires built on visibility. One arrest changed everything. No buildup, no warning. Alliances collapsed instantly. What had been cooperation turned into open conflict overnight. Retaliation came fast, public, immediate. And once retaliation becomes automatic, escalation doesn't slow down. It compounds. Convoys moved in daylight, heavily armed, visible. CJNG didn't expand quietly. It took territory directly, forcing control in front of everyone. Vehicles blocked roads. Operations unfolded in real time. That visibility changed perception. Because it wasn't hidden anymore, it was undeniable. And once power becomes that visible, it creates pressure that spreads far beyond the conflict itself. One idea changed the system. Remove the middlemen. Frank Lucas sourced directly, building a supply chain that moved faster and cleaner than anything before. It looked simple, but simplicity scales. And scale creates attention. The same efficiency that made it powerful made it visible. And once it became visible, it became vulnerable to disruption. An illiterate teenager from South Central Los Angeles became the man moving up to $3 million in a single day. Rick Ross didn't control the product. He controlled the speed. Cracks spread through neighborhoods faster than authorities could react, turning entire blocks into active markets overnight. Houses became distribution points. Lines formed outside. Cash moved constantly. At his peak, the flow didn't slow down. It multiplied. And that's what made it dangerous, because shutting down supply didn't stop the system. Distribution never paused. It adapted instantly. And once something moves that fast, it stops being managed. It starts reshaping everything around it. In the mountains of the Golden Triangle, one man controlled up to 70% of the world's heroin supply, protected by an army of up to 20,000 armed fighters. Kun Sa didn't just run an operation. He ruled territory that functioned like its own state. Dense jungle, narrow mountain paths. Every route watched. Every movement tracked. Armies struggled to reach him. Supply lines collapsed before they got close. Entire regions depended on his network. That's what made it powerful. It wasn't just hidden, it was defended on every level. And once a system becomes part of the terrain itself, removing it means fighting geography, not just the man. The FBI once described him as one of the most dangerous criminals in the world, and he never needed a weapon. Semyon Mogilevich moved billions through financial systems designed to look completely legitimate. Banks processed transactions without suspicion. Shell companies layered ownership across multiple countries. Money moved through dozens of accounts in minutes, disappearing before it could be traced. No violence, no noise, just control hidden inside the system itself. And that's what made him almost impossible to stop. Because you can target people, you can shut down locations, but you can't easily dismantle something that looks like it belongs there. Different names, different countries, same pattern. Some built power through speed, others through territory, others through invisibility. Different methods, same result. Control that outgrew the people who created it. Because the most powerful systems aren't the ones that dominate loudly. They're the ones that continue even when no one is watching.